I'm Ann Makovic, and this is The Minute. A special election today in San Mateo County over embattled Sheriff Christina Corpus. If passed, Measure A would give the Board of Supervisors the power to remove her from office. An independent report found evidence that she engaged in misconduct. Corpus denies the allegations. The Trump administration's new tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China are now in effect. Imports from Canada and Mexico are now to be taxed at 25%. China's were raised from 10 to 20%, comes as the president is set to address a joint session of Congress tonight. And more than 1,500 VTA workers could go on strike as early as today. A deadline to reach a contract agreement is passed, but the union informed us there is no strike planned, at least for now. VTA says it's been working toward an agreement with the union. I'm Ann Makovic, and this is The Minute.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
It's a cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area as we're gearing up for some light showers to sweep throughout the North Bay, along the peninsula, and off into the East Bay throughout the next couple hours. Now, it won't amount to much. It's really just going to be light showers that we see in our local communities, and it dries up pretty fast as we head into this afternoon, still with cloudy skies in the forecast, though. It's a part of a larger system, this huge frontal system sweeping in across California, but by the time it makes its way inland, it starts to dissipate pretty fast. So we'll catch a little bit of a break as we head into the overnight hours, but we have more rain in the forecast, this time from the south, as we head all the way into our Wednesday morning setup to split the week in half with more rain right around the corner. We'll see light to moderate showers sweep from the South Bay and the Santa Clara Valley all the way off into the East Bay and along our coast, and that system continues to bring in heavy amounts of rain and snow, actually, anywhere from the Sacramento Valley all the way into the Sierra as we head into Wednesday evening. Just offshore, though, you see that spiraling system that's continuing to move its way to the south. That's an area of low pressure that just coasts along our California coastline as we head into our Thursday forecast, and that'll bring in our last batch of showers before it continues to track to the south, clearing us up fast as we head into our Friday forecast and into this weekend. So in total, we could see anywhere up to around anywhere from 1/10 of an inch all the way up to 1/4 of an inch up in the North Bay, about 1/2 inch all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley for our rainfall totals. We'll dry up for Friday heading into Saturday, but then we have more showers right around the corner heading into our next week's forecast. So here's what we're expecting as we head into the next 7 days. Upper 50s and lower 60s, sunnier skies as we head into our Friday and Saturday forecast. We'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center.
Today, after months of turmoil, voters in San Mateo County are finally going to get their chance to weigh in on the effort to remove embattled Sheriff Christina Corpus. She made history back in 2023 by being sworn in as the county's first Latina sheriff. Her first big test of leadership came just a few weeks later after the deadly mass shooting at the mushroom farms in Half Moon Bay. But then things started to unravel late last year after she faced accusations of corruption, abuse of power, and the use of racist and homophobic slurs. Sheriff Corpus has denied the allegations and says that she has been politically targeted. Well, today, voters are going to cast their ballots in a special election. It's Measure A, which would change the county charter, giving supervisors the power to remove the sheriff. Lauren Tom spoke with a deputy who wants to see his boss lose her job.
In San Mateo County, voters will take to the polls to decide on a measure that will ultimately determine the fate of law enforcement leadership in the county. And for deputies like Elliot Storch, it could mark a turning point to restore trust and honor within the department. Something Storch says Sheriff Christina Corpus campaigned on, but didn't deliver on.
It's absolutely affected morale. And one of Sheriff Corpus's greatest accomplishments here at the sheriff's office is that she has created a culture of fear and retaliation.
Storch says the fears within the department intensified last November. On the same day, an independent report calling for Corpus's resignation was released. The sheriff arrested Union President Carlos Tapia for alleged time card fraud. Deputies argue the arrest was payback for his criticism of the sheriff.
Having President Tapia get arrested was a red line, and it showed us that Sheriff Corpus would do anything possible to disrespect and mistreat the people who work here, and that she would do anything possible to maintain her power, even at the expense of a good man's life.
The charges against Tapia were dropped, but tensions remain high. The scathing 400-page report accused Corpus of using racist and homophobic slurs, fostering a toxic culture, and placing power in the hands of her chief of staff, Victor Allende. The report found Allende to be unqualified for executive decision-making and found he had a personal relationship with Corpus, creating a conflict of interest. Both Corpus and Allende have denied the allegations. Corpus's lawyer, Brad Gage, echoes what the sheriff has maintained all along, that she's been wrongfully targeted for being the county's first Latina sheriff, and she fired back with a $10 million discrimination lawsuit against county officials.
The election itself is geared only to target her. Measure A has a timeout in 2028. So basically it's never existed before, and it won't exist after her term as the sheriff. And that's very concerning to us because it appears to be improper, discriminatory, and retaliatory.
Critics of Measure A say there are already avenues to remove Corpus from office through a recall election or through a civil grand jury investigation that could lead to a trial. They say Measure A would give unprecedented power to the Board of Supervisors. Caught in the middle, residents and lawmakers in San Mateo County. Some cities, like Millbrae, rely exclusively on the sheriff's office for public safety. Millbrae Mayor Anders Fung says the sooner the focus is put back on frontline services, the better.
Ultimately, we need to make sure that everybody feel comfortable with the sheriff's office leadership, and I think that's what we look forward to.
Voting on what accountability means for every elected official in the county.
So if Measure A passes, Sheriff Corpus would not immediately lose her job. 4 out of 5 supervisors would have to vote to remove her and provide justification. Corpus will then have the opportunity to defend herself in public. An elementary school is back open today in Sonoma County after vandals caused significant damage on campus. Classes were canceled yesterday at John Reed Elementary in Rohnert Park, which is home to 400 students. The superintendent did not reveal details about the vandalism, but confirmed that multiple classrooms were targeted. She also pointed out that crimes like this create a ripple effect that impacts the entire community.
So their families, the teachers, this is an impact on the entire community in Rohnert Park when something like this happens.
Counselors and therapy dogs are going to be on campus to help support students today. There is no word yet on a suspect nor how much it is costing to fix that damage. President Trump says he will tell it like it is when he gives his first speech before a joint gathering of Congress tonight. That comes as new U.S. tariffs went into effect overnight, drawing promises of retaliation from Canada, China, and Mexico. Natalie Brand reports from Capitol Hill.
25% tariffs are now in effect on the nation's 2 biggest trading partners, Canada and Mexico, as President Trump gets ready to address a joint session of Congress tonight.
It's going to be very costly for people to take advantage of this country.
The U.S. also increased tariffs on imports from China, bringing them to 20%. Each country has vowed to respond with tariffs of its own.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake.
Even some Republicans are worried.
Maine's economy is very integrated with Canada. Certain Maine products, such as lobster and blueberries, are often processed in Canada and then come back into the United States.
The president's address here on Capitol Hill also comes as the Trump administration paused military aid to Ukraine following Friday's contentious meeting with President Zelensky.
The president has been very clear he wants the Ukrainians to come to the negotiating table. I think when the Ukrainians come to the negotiating table, everything is on the table.
President Trump's domestic agenda is also expected to be front and center tonight, including efforts to shrink the size of the federal government, with over 25,000 layoffs so far.
Firing federal workers who do cancer research and Alzheimer's research, that does not make us a stronger country or a stronger government.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren is among the Democrats who have invited fired federal workers as special guests tonight.
Also among President Trump's guests for tonight are the widow and daughters of Corey Comparator, the rally goer who was killed when a gunman tried to assassinate Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania this past summer. Also expected to attend, American history teacher Mark Fogel, who had been wrongfully detained in Russia for 3 years until he was released last month as part of a deal negotiated by the Trump administration. With those new tariffs in effect, we could be paying more for oil, cars, and car parts over the next few weeks. Could take another 6 to 9 months to feel the effects on agriculture, toys, and home building supplies. California imports billions of dollars worth of goods from Mexico, from fruits and veggies to car parts. Grocery shoppers are concerned about how far their money is going to go now. A local auto worker says he relies on imports for 80% of their car parts. He expects a short-term sticker shock for customers, but he is hoping the long-term impact will be positive.
I heard today Honda Civic, they're going to start manufacturing Honda in the United States.
If the object is to protect jobs or bring more jobs to the United States, there are a lot of ways that we can go about this.
President Trump calls the tariffs a negotiation tactic to stem the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. and increase border security. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area. It's no secret there is a desperate need for housing around here, but a new development in San Jose almost got rejected.
You have to be kidding me. If we're letting 1/8 of an inch on a paper margin get in the way of building housing that we need, something is fundamentally wrong.
Why a housing project was nearly shelved over less than an inch. Plus, a highly contagious virus that can be deadly for dogs. The effort to slow down an outbreak in San Francisco.
Then we're going to see it spike. They're going to pick it up, they're going to get sick, and they'll spread it.
And we're going to show you why more Bay Area students are saying no to college and taking a road less traveled.
So from today until Thursday, we could get close to around a tenth of an inch all the way up to around a quarter up north, while our friends down south are going to see more impressive rainfall totals. Will clear up as we head into our Friday and Saturday forecast with another splash of showers heading into this weekend. So lots of changes, lots of unsettled weather, like I just mentioned, back and forth as we head into the coming days. There will be times where it's just cloudy and cool and you see a rain cloud off in the distance, and it may or may not pass your local community. As we head into our Wednesday and Thursday forecast, that's the same trend, but by Friday into Saturday, it's sunny and beautiful and mild all throughout the Bay Area.
Well, the need for housing all around the Bay Area just keeps growing, including in San Jose. So it's a little crazy to think that the city actually denied plans for a new development, all because of the margins on the paperwork were too wide. Our Kevin Coe introduces us to the developers who had to go back to the drawing board with a little bit of help.
Donovan Adesaro decided to live and work in the Bay Area because of a single piece of legislation.
Identify all the SB 9 eligible sites throughout California.
Senate Bill 9, known as the California Home Act, became law in 2021. It allows homeowners in specifically zoned areas to split their lot in half and build up to 4 units on their property. The goal, to address the housing crisis statewide and give the opportunity for homeowners to build intergenerational wealth. Adesaro is the head of development at Build Casa, which focuses on helping homeowners utilize SB 9.
This pins a lot the deals that we've done for SB 9.
One of those projects in the South Bay almost fell apart because of this, less than a quarter of an inch.
Just like all of the margins around the side.
East Bay native Ben Tinklenberg is the operations manager at Build Casa. He got an email from the city of San Jose rejecting a housing project because the margins on a map were 0.2 inches over the requirement.
You know, this one is a good one to share because it's kind of very marginal and annoying, but there's some things that are much harder to deal with.
It wasn't necessarily the planner's fault. He was adhering to state law. So it was just more of like a symptom of a broader issue of like, we need to address whatever state local guidelines that are impeding promoting housing growth.
Donovan posted the dilemma online, which caught the eye of San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan.
You have to be kidding me. If we're letting an eighth of an inch on a paper margin get in the way of building housing that we need, something is fundamentally wrong.
The measurement is required by a 1974 state law that was amended in 2010, requiring an entirely blank margin of 1 inch on housing plans.
Many of those rules are there for good reason, and we'll continue to uphold them. Some overreach.
Donovan says Mahan's team helped them get the project back on track. For a smaller developer like Build Casa, unpredictable delays and timelines could jeopardize a housing project altogether. So, Mahan's help was welcomed. And the mayor agrees. The setback highlights a larger issue at hand.
But we need to go upstream and figure out how to encourage the state to create a little more flexibility and then work downstream of the process with the county.
Until then, there is no margin of error to build housing in California, which Build Casa was reminded of when they got an update on their San Jose housing project.
After the surveyor signed it, the ink got smeared, and so, they said, who knows if the county will take this one? So we might be 3 maps, 3rd time's the charm. It's just death by 1,000 paper cuts, and you get used to it eventually.
Well, Mayor Mahan is meeting with the team at Build Casa this week, working to identify barriers in building housing in the state. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie rolling out a new plan to try to help at-risk families stay housed. It is an $11 million investment from Tipping Point. That is the nonprofit that he founded. One of the goals is to bring together service providers and community organizations, making support more accessible through what they're calling a no wrong door approach. If it's successful, San Francisco plans to expand the model citywide.
One of the things that we know about homelessness is that it is preventable. And so we're trying to go further upstream and prevent homelessness before it starts. And some of the things that we're going to do, it's usual to give families who are at imminent risk for homelessness financial assistance. But what we also want to do is bring in other support systems that will also help the family keep their housing.
So what about the money to fund this plan? The CEO of Tipping Point tells us the money was privately funded by Tipping Point donors. The Tenderloin has long been one of the hotbeds for homelessness in San Francisco. And a lot of those people living on the streets have dogs. Now to an outbreak of the potentially deadly parvovirus. It's spreading quickly in the area, and it's putting a lot of pets at risk. Kara St. Cyr introduces us to some people taking advantage of a free clinic to help slow the outbreak.
At 7 weeks old, Mr. Witherspoon is highly at risk of contracting parvovirus.
The homeless and the low-income people have to be responsible for our dogs as well.
But his owner is hell-bent on not letting that happen. She's taking both of her dogs to get vaccinated at a pop-up clinic in the Tenderloin.
They've been my rock. So, yeah, they're everything.
Parvovirus is an infection that attacks a dog's white blood cells and gastrointestinal tract. It causes extreme vomiting, diarrhea, and dehydration. But in puppies, like Mr. Witherspoon, the virus can lead to death. San Francisco Animal Care and Control says cases are on the rise in the city, doubling from 2022, and the virus is particularly spreading among dogs in the Tenderloin. Dr. Jennifer Scarlett, CEO of San Francisco SPCA, says that's happening for a few reasons.
We have a pretty heavy dog population anyway. That combination of having young dogs that might be under-vaccinated, then we're going to see it spike. They're going to pick it up, they're going to get sick, and they'll spread it.
SPCA is partnering with the St. Anthony Foundation to provide free vaccines for pet owners in the Tenderloin. A line stretched along Golden Gate Avenue as owners waited to get the vaccine. Jesse Henley and his dog Sativa have gotten the shot 3 times. He says vaxxing is a no-brainer to keep his best friend safe.
When I come down to in the area here in the Tenderloin, she keys up on anything that is negative, but other than that, she is the most loving dog that I've ever had in my whole life.
This pop-up serviced about 100 dogs, and Mr. Witherspoon took his shots like a champion.
I feel like a responsible pet owner. I don't know what else to say.
San Francisco Animal Care and Control offers 4 clinics a year to get your dogs vaccinated and microchipped. They charge $10 for the 5-in-1 vaccine that includes parvovirus. The next clinic is scheduled for March 16th. Still ahead, a church in the South Bay supporting people who need it the most. How Grace Baptist Church is making history through years of dedication.
It now gives us comfort to know that we are guaranteed to have a permanent home.
As we head into the evening hours tonight, we start to clear up, and this is a part of a larger system moving all throughout California, anywhere from Crescent City, Eureka area, all the way down into Monterey and Big Sur. This system right here will start to break apart as it makes its way into landfall just around 2 o'clock this afternoon, but we're not done just yet. We wake up tomorrow morning to another batch of showers, this time sweeping in from the south, and this one will bring in heavier showers to the South Bay and along the peninsula and along our shoreline. At the same time as it moves its way inland, it has a lot more strength, bringing in snow to the Sierra, rain widespread throughout the Sacramento Valley. And at the same time, you see that system just to the corner of your screen. That area of low pressure will bring in the last bit of showers for us as we head into our Thursday forecast. Timing this out into those early morning hours on Thursday, that area of low pressure swirls its way just along our coastline, bringing in more light showers to us and some gusty conditions at times too before we clear up heading into Friday and Saturday with beautiful weather right around the corner. So in total, we can see close to around 1/10 of an inch up in the North Bay, about 1/2 inch all the way down to the South Bay. And taking a look at the next 7 days, we're pretty much seeing daytime highs flirt back and forth with upper 50s and lower 60s. Over to you.
San Jose's Grace Baptist Church is making history in a new way. It was recently designated as an historic landmark, keeping its legacy alive. As Gianna Franco shows us, it's not only a place of worship, but also a place that helps those most in need.
And this is where we have our emergency shelter.
Grace Baptist Church sits on the corner of 10th and San Fernando Street in San Jose.
That's the place where Cesar Chavez organized here.
With a long-standing history playing a vital role in civil rights and peace activism. But it's more than that. Nestled beyond the pews and altar of the church is Grace Solutions, a nonprofit founded in 2017 dedicated to supporting the community. Phil Mastrocole is executive director of Grace Solutions.
We have a bank of 6 shower rooms, and each of these are lockable, and they are they're secure.
They provide meals, shelter, showers, and essential services to the unhoused.
Yeah, this is the kitchen. This is the church kitchen, and this is where we prepare our meals.
Over the years, he's seen the need grow in the area.
Lots of things going on in the city. They're trying to help as much as they possible to, clean up encampments and make things available for people. So being downtown and near the creeks, we do get a lot of people here very close to us from the Coyote Creek, which is probably 6 blocks from here.
Their work a testament to their dedication to the San Jose community.
We're working always with the city and county to make sure that we're able to give as much as we can based on our capacity and our resources here to help those folks.
Give drink to the thirsty, feed the hungry.
Working in conjunction with volunteers from Grace Baptist Church. Dr. Penelope Hogue came to San Jose years ago when she was just a college sophomore. She spends her time as a worship leader and a volunteer office manager at the church. Along with Jean Wardrop, a moderator of the church, both have personal connections to Grace Baptist.
There's my wedding in 1959. There I am a few years later.
Most recently, Grace Baptist was granted historic landmark status, a decision made by the San Jose City Council protecting the church for any future development.
It now gives us comfort to know that we are guaranteed to have a permanent home for our services,
allowing Grace Baptist Church to continue playing a dual role as a historic landmark and a hub of compassion.
Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, what was a peaceful horseback ride down a trail suddenly turns into a tragedy. Why a woman is now facing felony charges.
We were kind of just blown away that someone would ever do that to an animal.
Plus, it is a very tough choice for a lot of high school seniors what to do after graduating.
I just want to get a good paying job doing what I enjoy and I guess I'm good at.
Why this 19-year-old says he picked an automotive tech program over the traditional 4-year degree. Makovic, and this is The Minute. Breaking news, the El Cerrito BART station is shut down right now. The transit agency says that there's some sort of major medical emergency going on. BART has stopped service between North Berkeley and Richmond. No timeline yet on when the trains will start rolling again. Special election today in San Mateo County over embattled Sheriff Christina Corpus. If it's passed, Measure A would give the Board of Supervisors the power to remove her from office. An independent report found she engaged in misconduct. Corpus has denied those allegations. The Trump administration's new tariffs against Canada, Mexico, and China now in effect. Imports from Canada and Mexico are being taxed at 25%. China's were raised from 10 to 20%. Comes as the president set to address a joint session of Congress tonight. I'm Ann Makovic with The Minutes.
You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
It's a cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area as we're gearing up for some light showers to sweep throughout the North Bay, along the peninsula, and off into the East Bay throughout the next couple hours. Now, it won't amount to much. It's really just going to be light showers that we see in our local communities, and it dries up pretty fast as we head into this afternoon, still with cloudy skies in the forecast, though. It's a part of a larger system, this huge frontal system sweeping in across California, but by the time it makes its way inland, it starts to dissipate pretty fast. So we'll catch a little bit of a break as we head into the overnight hours, but we have more rain in the forecast, this time from the south, as we head all the way into our Wednesday morning setup to split the week in half with more rain right around the corner. We'll see light to moderate showers sweep from the South Bay and the Santa Clara Valley all the way off into the East Bay and along our coast, and that system continues to bring in heavy amounts of rain and snow, actually, anywhere from the Sacramento Valley all the way into the Sierra as we head into Wednesday evening. Just offshore, though, you see that spiraling system that's continuing to move its way to the south. That's an area of low pressure that just coasts along our California coastline as we head into our Thursday forecast, and that'll bring in our last batch of showers before it continues to track to the south, clearing us up fast as we head into our Friday forecast and into this weekend. So in total, we could see anywhere from 1/10 of an inch all the way up to 1/4 of an inch up in the North Bay, about 1/2 an inch all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley for our rainfall totals. We'll dry up for Friday heading into Saturday, but then we have more showers right around the corner heading into our next week's forecast. So here's what we're expecting as we head into the next 7 days. Upper 50s and lower 60s, sunnier skies as we head into our Friday and Saturday forecast. We'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center.
Well, you might have seen this video online, a woman pulling a horse's tail while a little boy was riding it. That caused the horse to buck and throw that child off. Happened during a riding lesson at Ocean View Stables in Daly City. It's not far from Fort Funston. The woman who did that to the horse is now under arrest. The manager of the stables talked with our Kelsey Thorid.
This is the moment police say 29-year-old Tomasa Panjones-Leon ran behind a horse and pulled its tail, causing the horse to spook and buck off a young child.
It blew all of our minds that someone would, one, do that to the animal, do that to the child that was riding.
Caroline Reed is the barn manager at Ocean View Stables, the barn that was hosting the kids' ride.
Even as professional horse people, we never just walk straight up to our horse from behind, no matter how well trained that horse is. That will startle anyone. That would startle myself if someone did that. So we were kind of just blown away that someone would ever do that to an animal.
Caroline says that day the young boy was riding Zeus, one of their most well-mannered horses.
If you're a beginner, you usually get put on him first.
The kids' ride consists of a lap around Thornton Beach Trail. It's a trail that often has people from the general public walking on it. But Caroline says before this, walkers have always been polite to the riders.
They usually step aside when we're coming by. We ask people to step off the trail when we're walking by. And if you watch the video, they were standing to the side of that trail until we had passed. And then she came back around and pulled that tail. So we had no idea that that was going to happen. They were respectfully standing to the side in the beginning of that, which is what almost everyone does for us.
Caroline says once they saw the video, they called police.
So we met with them that night, filed that report again on Wednesday, February 26th. We talked to them again, just giving statements and kind of following up on the condition of the horse.
Caroline says the boy was able to get back on the horse after the fall and finish the ride. She says that he left with his parents that night after they declined medical attention. But police say the child did sustain injuries as a result of the fall. Officers arrested Panjones-Leon on March 1st, charging her with felony child endangerment. Caroline told us they were all relieved to hear that news.
Absolutely. We were just worried about that, her being out. We didn't know if she was going to come back and do that again to somebody else.
Caroline says employees continue to walk the trails before rides to spot any potential issues. All of Ocean View's classes and trail rides remain open.
More than 1,500 VTA workers could be going on strike as early as today. A deadline to reach a contract agreement has passed, but the union informed us there is no strike planned, at least for now. VTA says it's been working toward an agreement with the union, so hopefully they can come up with something. For a lot of high school seniors, college acceptance letters are starting to roll in, and now is their time to decide what post-high school life is going to look like. But traditional four-year schooling is not for everyone. Len Ramirez introduces us to a Bay Area teen who's shifting gears.
Kevin Estrada is a 19-year-old college student who is studying a subject he loves, how to fix cars.
Really, I just want to get a good paying job doing what I enjoy and I guess I'm good at, and make a future for myself.
Kevin is in the automotive program at Evergreen Valley College in San Jose. It teaches students the nuts and bolts of getting cars back on the road and has classes that teach the tech of electric cars. The program has been around for 30 years, and lately the demand for classes is spiking.
The inner joint, if it comes out, then you're going to have to remove it and reassemble it.
Mark Bernbeck is the program coordinator.
Our classes are full. We do have a wait list right now. There seems to be a resurgence of people getting into this field. The message is out there that wages have gone up.
Bernbeck says the program has evolved along with advancements in the automotive world to become a tech-related field.
New technology is coming out, so we're always coming up with new courses to cover that.
For Kevin, who started working on cars with his father when he was just 5 years old, this was a more attractive option compared to a traditional four-year degree.
Not everyone is meant to be a lawyer. Not everyone's meant to be a nurse. And that's what I like about the program. They tell you, oh yeah, you can make a good wage working for the automotive industry.
Now, besides going to school, Kevin works at a Chick-fil-A and recently got hired by Honda of Stevens Creek to work in their dealership part-time.
I know Kevin very well. He is an extremely hardworking kid.
Rick Pimentel is the parts and service director and currently has 8 Evergreen graduates working for his department, where salaries start at around $40,000 but can grow to over $150,000 a year. And the need for more technicians is growing.
It is harder to find good technicians, but this program has done extremely well for us over the years, and will continue to do this for years to come, I'd say, at this time.
One of the Evergreen graduates is Tino Perez, who came out of the program in 2000 and is now one of the top master certified technicians in the shop, who's qualified to work on hydrogen vehicles.
I, bought a house, put 2 kids through college. Well, they're going through college right now. Yeah, but yeah, I'm doing okay. I do fine.
It's the career path that Kevin sees for himself.
I mean, just preparing myself so I don't have to worry about my future later on.
For Kevin and his fellow students, it's a chance to go to school and get valuable training so they can hit the ground running on a good-paying and high-demand career.
Well, there is a waiting list for the program. Registration for the fall semester starts April 7th. You can apply on the Evergreen Valley College website. Coming up next, a woman here in the Bay Area is changing the way companies provide life-saving training to their employees.
Nobody would invest in it because they're like, oh, it's safety, it's not very sexy, it's not very cool. And so I really had to gamble on myself.
How a lifetime of work started the day that she saved her own father's life.
from today until Thursday. We could get close to around a tenth of an inch all the way up to around a quarter up north, while our friends down south are going to see more impressive rainfall totals. We'll clear up as we head into our Friday and Saturday forecast with another splash of showers heading into this weekend. So lots of changes, lots of unsettled weather, like I just mentioned, back and forth as we head into the coming days. There will be times where it's just cloudy and cool and you see a rain cloud off in the distance, and it may or may not pass your local community. As we head into our Wednesday and Thursday forecast, that's the same trend, but by Friday into Saturday, it's sunny and beautiful and mild all throughout the Bay Area.
March is Women's History Month. It is a time to honor and highlight the contributions of women across the country. And today we are stepping into the world of virtual reality, where one Bay Area native used technology and innovation to take an industry by storm. Kevin Coe has her story.
Another day, another safety training course by Pam Isom.
Get you into the VR and then have you go do CPR.
She's the president and CEO of ICE Safety Solutions, which provides companies and their employees life-saving training. Today, she's teaching CPR and earthquake safety in Fremont.
I'm in the headset, my instructors are in the headset, and what's happening is they're experiencing someone having a cardiac arrest in front of them.
This class uses the same tools you'd see in most CPR courses, but the VR headset allows students to get real-time data and feedback in a more realistic emergency setting. It also is more collaborative, like CPR competitions based on compression data.
97!
ICE's clients include Honda, Coca-Cola, and the Golden State Warriors. But it hasn't been easy for Pam since she started the company 25 years ago.
Being a woman in safety, right? Because when you think about CPR, what do you think about? A fireman, policeman, right? It's always men. So when I first came, into the space, everyone thought I was the admin.
Her passion for safety training started when she was 16 years old, the day she saved her father's life.
He was hanging out his window and heaving, like he couldn't breathe.
After she stepped in with her CPR training, she decided she wanted to teach others, and she did. But after college, she was also a researcher at a pharmaceutical company. Then she had her first kid.
So I went to resign from the pharma company, and they were like, well, who's going to do our CPR? I'm like, I don't know. I have this baby. And they're like, just be a contractor.
That's how ICE was born. But growing wasn't easy, even with her ideas of expanding safety training into virtual reality.
Nobody would invest in it because they're like, oh, it's safety. It's not very sexy. It's not very cool. And so I really had to gamble on myself.
After rejection, she finally got enough credit from a bank to invest, and now she's here. This wall is full of stories from clients who used Pam's training in action.
He came home and found his 1-year-old in the bottom of the pool. And he had to pull him up, call 911, do CPR, and his son survived.
Her success story isn't all glitz and glamour. Even today, Pam still finds herself defending her life's work.
Given what's happening in the country, specifically around diversity, equity, and inclusion, this is the most difficult in terms of looking people eye to eye, because they see who our customers are. And they sometimes look at me like, oh, you just got that because you're a Black woman. And so it is hard. I do have to fight a lot harder, but I just have to keep going with, we're a business enterprise who happens to be minority. Because our proof are the lives on that wall. Those lives that are here today, that proves who we are, and that's a totally different type of merit.
Another day, another obstacle for Pam to overcome.
According to the Health and Safety Institute, women account for 25 to 29% of the safety profession, while making up 47% of the country's workers. Coming up, he pours out his soul as a so-called rebel. We're going to meet a saxophone player who moved to the Bay Area after traveling the globe, using his music as his passport.
That has taken me all over the world, so that's always my instrument of choice.
into the evening hours tonight, we start to clear up. And this is a part of a larger system moving all throughout California, anywhere from Crescent City, Eureka area, all the way down into Monterey and Big Sur. This system right here will start to break apart as it makes its way into landfall just around 2 o'clock this afternoon. But we're not done just yet. We wake up tomorrow morning to another batch of showers, this time sweeping in from the south. And this one will bring in heavier showers to the South Bay and along the peninsula and along our shoreline. At the same time, as it moves its way inland, it has a lot more strength, bringing in snow to the Sierra, rain widespread throughout the Sacramento Valley. And at the same time, you see that system just to the corner of your screen. That area of low pressure will bring in the last bit of showers for us as we head into our Thursday forecast. Timing this out into those early morning hours on Thursday, that area of low pressure swirls its way just along our coastline, bringing in more light showers to us and some gusty conditions at times too before we clear up heading into Friday and Saturday with beautiful weather right around the corner. So in total, we can see close to around 1/10 of an inch up in the North Bay, about 1/2 an inch all the way down to the South Bay. And taking a look at the next 7 days, we're pretty much seeing daytime highs flirt back and forth with upper 50s and lower 60s. Over to you.
Mardi Gras celebrations are underway in New Orleans, but rough weather is forcing some big changes. Parades have been rescheduled and routes shortened to avoid storms and strong winds. People were told not to bring umbrellas or tents, and police are going to keep those parades moving quickly. 2 parades with 200 floats were postponed. So much of what makes Mardi Gras and New Orleans special is the music. Brass bands take over the celebrations. It's one part jazz, another part marching band. Something really unique ends up coming out of that. And Devin Feely introduces you to a saxophone player from one of New Orleans' best brass bands, who now calls the Bay Area home.
It's always about the music and making people happy.
From the Super Bowl to Jazz Fest.
If you're living in the world today, you be hearing the slang that the Wu-Tang say.
To NPR's Tiny Desk. Aaron Williams has played the world's biggest stages alongside its brightest stars.
I play tenor sax in all these different groups, and that has taken me all over the world, you know, so that's always my instrument of choice.
As a member of the Soul Rebels brass band, my man says music has been his passport to a world wider and more wonderful than he could have ever imagined as a child running wild in New Orleans' 9th Ward.
It's always been saxophone.
And no, he wasn't born with a horn in his hand, but music is in his blood. The son of a musical family, he counts Kermit Ruffins yeah, that Kermit Ruffins as a first cousin. And surely there were early signs that maybe the family had produced its next musician.
4th grade, you had your pick of instruments, and I picked the saxophone for whatever reason. I still don't know why.
The choice would echo across the years as he built a life in which music took center stage, all of the hard work paying off in his final year of college with the offer of a lifetime, the chance to join Soul Rebels.
It's been a wild ride, but it's been a fun wild ride and well worth it, you know, just to go all over the world and just make people happy by playing an instrument. Like, that's just been a blessing.
Williams was a frontman for the group for 2 decades, playing for audiences in his hometown and across the globe. But eventually, life would intervene. A new wife, a new baby, and new opportunities brought him to California, where he's now putting down roots in unfamiliar soil and finding the rhythm of a new city.
I think this year has more been trying to find my footprint and where do I fit in here, with what I can bring to the table.
After playing the world's biggest stages, Aaron is entering a new stage of life, embracing fatherhood. And with it, the possibility that the greatest joy just might come from the tiniest of audiences.
My daughter, she loves music. She's so intelligent and she remembers things so fast. It's in your blood, obviously, but like it's really in your blood.
Williams has a gig for Mardi Gras in Oakland tonight. He's playing with MJ's Brass Boppers for the Mardi Gras Parade. That starts at 6 o'clock at Snow Park. Meanwhile, if you're looking to celebrate in the city, Carnival San Francisco celebrating its 47th annual anniversary with a Mardi Gras event from 5 to 10 p.m. That is at Mission and 24th Streets, featuring live music, samba drummers, and costumes. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your first alert forecast and another look at your top stories.